Hello, this is Jess. This is chat session number 42, December 12th, 2017, a Tuesday evening. Go right into our tidbits of history. 1980. American oil tycoon Armand Hammer pays $5,126,000 at auction for a notebook containing writings by the legendary artist Leonardo da Vinci. At that time, that was the most expensive price paid for a manuscript. But over time, with taxes on estates and legal fees of some museum being sued because he didn't give his wife the fair share of the fortune, the manuscript was resold numerous times, and the latest owner paid $30.8 million in 1994, and his name was Bill Gates. Okay, that's interesting little tidbit of history there. In 1965, the rookie running back Gale Sayers of the Chicago Bears scores 6 TDs during a single game against the San Francisco 49ers at Chicago's Wrigley Field. Excuse me. Tying the NFL record for the most TDs scored in a single game. Sayers had 4 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdowns, and 1 kick return touchdown. He tied Ernie Nevers of the Chicago Cardinals, 1929, and Dub Jones of the Cleveland Browns from 1951. So 3 people in the history of the NFL have scored 6 touchdowns in one game. Wow. Sayers was voted NFL Rookie of the Year in 1965. His career lasted 6 seasons due to 2 major knee injuries, but he was the youngest player at age 34 to ever be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There was a movie about Sayers' friendship to Brian Piccolo. I can't think of the name, but maybe it was called Brian's Song. But he was also on the Chicago Bears, but he had cancer, and it's a good show. If you've never seen it, I haven't seen it in a long time, but it was a decent show. All right, so we're out of the history part of our chat session. That was history from 1965 and 1980 on this date. All right. You know, all this focus on, I don't know if this is the year of the sexual predator, sexual molestation, sexual misconduct, anything sexual that people can come up with against somebody else seems to be coming out of the woodworks. I think it's a good thing. I just have one small question, is that why, I mean, if there's more, we need to get it all out there. I mean, give people, like I said, people can change, they can make mistakes, and they shouldn't be dragged back through the trash. If something was done, it needs to be solved. It needs to be brought forth for proper justice at the proper time. I'm not for it at all, but I do think that if somebody made a mistake 20, 30 years back, that the punishment for someone coming forward shouldn't ruin a man's life beyond that. Now, if it happened more than once, if there was numerous instances, if you're banned from a public place like the mall, I mean, come on. Yeah, there's something going on there. And those people are hiding behind a false protection of Christianity, saying that they've been forgiven for their transgressions against other people. And to a point, that's fine if that's what they want to believe. But if a person continually goes out and does this kind of stuff and then gets caught and then starts saying all this other stuff and tries to hide behind religion, I think, yeah, there should be a problem. But I think that if somebody touched somebody in 1975 and apologized, nothing was said about it, and then all of a sudden it comes back in 1999 that they sexually harassed, or, I mean, there has to be a responsibility of the person that was harassed to bring it forth so that proper justice can be served at the time of the crime. Again, I think that you get what you deserve when it comes to that kind of stuff. But people can make mistakes. As long as they've made progressions away from that kind of mistake and have truly tried to change their inside integrity, then I think that there should be a limitation. But like I said, if 3 years down the road, then you do it again, 3 years down the road, no, there's a cycle. And it is a problem with people like that. And they should be brought to justice. But I don't think that waiting 40 years and then because other people came forth that you suddenly remember, hey, that happened to me. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. I'm just saying that that's a long time ago. And I think there has to be some kind of fairness in the courts if it's brought to that. I think that people can decide, hey, this person's not fit to do this because he did this, and I understand that's part of when you run for elected office. You better be ready for that dirt to be dug up from your opponent. It's just part of politics, unfortunately. It takes away from what politics should be, and that's about solving issues that affect the multitude of our people in this country. And so the focus, when someone enters political life, yeah, they should have their past drug up, and all that stuff, but I think the actual punishment should fit the crime. I think if you have somebody's, in a tape saying, yeah, because I have money, I can do anything I want to women, and if they don't like it, I can just, grab them by the pussy. That's kind of crap. If somebody believes that and they're saying it and they also do it, I think that there should be some serious justice. But I also think that the punishment should fit the crime. Yeah, it's a crime. But waiting 30 years, people can change. Now, if there's documentation saying, yeah, I'm talking about Roy Moore here, if there's documentation that he was banned from the mall because he was a predator on young women and doing things to them against their will, yeah, there's a crime there. And I think that should be dealt with. And I think he should be barred from running for the Senate. But if somebody is a senator and they did something way before they were senator and it hadn't happened since, and nobody else is coming forward saying, hey, this happened last week and the week before, I think there's one time, I think that as a human being, I think that we would have to say, hey, he made a mistake. Now, if it's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, hey, there's no mistake. That person needs to be punished. It's a very difficult fine line because I'm sure there's some women out there saying that it's not the woman's fault, and I would agree with them in almost every case, except that when you wait for 20, 30 years to bring forth charges, that's like the I don't even know what it's like. I don't even want to go into that because somebody will have something to say. But it's like when I was 9, I stole a piece of gum, and 25 years later, the store clerk remembered me and called the cops on me, saying that I stole gum, when I was 9. Yeah, that's a crime. It was committed. But I think the judicial process gets overwhelmed because of our 27 lawyer appeals and all this stuff to get everybody off. And if you have money, you can drag out for years and years. I think that there's a lesson learned in all that. We need to clean up our court systems. We need to make it more efficient. And I think there's a lot of tie-ins to the length of time that a person would wait to report something like this. I understand the unpleasantness of it. I can't imagine it for a woman that's been molested, or a young kid or whatever. But through proper teaching from our parents when we're young about growing up and not being afraid to report something when someone has made a transgression against you physically, against your will, I do believe that there's justification. So all this craziness of all these people coming forward and yeah, keep on doing it. I mean, I guess it's where we are. But I think that at some point we have to look and say, man, does the punishment fit the crime? Do we need to ruin this guy's life over the 25 years since that one incident? Now, like I said, 2, 4, 7, 10 more times. No, there's not an incident. That's a sickness or a problem that should be dealt with. Again, that's all. I'm not going to dwell on this. We've got exciting Week 15 football coming up. A lot of stretching now on who's going to make the playoffs. I'm really excited about it. Going to the doctor tomorrow for checkup on my leg. I'm not all happy about how this is healing, but I'll let them decide what the situation is when I get there tomorrow. And I'm I'm hoping that sometime soon. I've been off work for close to 2.5 weeks now. I sure am ready to quit sitting around and get back to work. But that's not up to me at this point. The doctor has to release me. So anyway, that's that. Be truthful, be happy, and let's look out for each other, okay? And let's try to put forth a positive feeling. Have a great Tuesday evening. It's about 8 p.m. Bye.